Let's talk about some other stuff going on. Patrick Peterson and Chase Edmonds talked about the Kyler Murray situation on the All Things Covered podcast, brought to you by CBS Sports. That is normally hosted by Patrick Peterson and
Brian McFadden,
another defensive back,
longtime Steeler,
and also employee of CBS Sports, I believe. He does work for them. They have a podcast. This particular one was Patrick Peterson and Chase Edmonds, former running back for the Arizona Cardinals. The way they were speaking about the entire Kyler Murray situation was basically that it's a cultural problem about winning and want to be competitive. It's not surprising to me, bro, to say the least, Edmonds said. I just know, especially knowing how the last 2 years have ended, meaning 2021 and 2020, and knowing the type of competitor that K1 is and the type of winner that he wants to be, I knew there was going to be, at some point, some things happening, especially just because you see the power that quarterbacks have now. They hold the weight, man, and you got to pay them. Okay, so is that because they had success and they're seeing what other quarterbacks are making and getting paid and what Kyler Murray has done there and what Kyler Murray deserves? They knew a situation was going to brew business-wise between the Cardinals and Kyler Murray. How did you take that there, AJ?
Well, when I first saw it, I thought it was more about like the team around him. Like they didn't build up the team around him like they may have wanted. But then the more I look at it, I don't know what the hell it is. Like who is the problem? Is it the coaching staff? Is it the GM? The owner? Who is the problem?
I don't know, because they were headlining it as if it was a shot at the culture almost, and they think that it's not a winning culture. Edmonds, who spent 3 seasons alongside Murray before signing with Miami this offseason, said you could see the frustration ready to boil over at the end of 2021 when the Cardinals finished 11-6 and went one and done in the playoffs despite a 10-2 start. When you see good culture teams in the NFL, like the Baltimore Ravens, New Orleans Saints, the Niners, those teams, no matter how talented they look, bro, from top to bottom, they just somehow find a way to win damn games, Edmonds said. Even like Mike Tomlin with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Some teams have that culture and some teams don't. I feel like that's kind of what it was for us. That's fascinating, because so it is definitely talking about the culture not being a winning culture, but then also.
But what does that mean, though? Is he calling coaches out, saying they're not doing enough? What are you doing?
Yeah, is he calling out the locker room? Is he calling out the coaches? Is he calling out the players in there? Are they calling out how it's run? I don't know. And I started thinking about the culture earlier because I got to see a culture change with the Indianapolis Colts from a regime that at one point had the winningest decade in NFL history. Bill Polian, who was in Buffalo, Carolina, and Indianapolis, built a team the way he built a team. And the way he built a team was, hey, he got a group of guys, and they stuck around for a long time. I mean, there was a great core there that did a lot for the Indianapolis Colts. And whenever, that turnover happened from that to a brand new GM, first-time head coach, that decision changed the culture immensely. The culture became a completely brand new culture. They actually painted over things on the wall of the old culture. Like I walked in most days, saw some of my friends celebrating on the wall before I ate, a meal. And then all of a sudden it's just a gray wall. Okay. And it's a brand new team. Okay. Nothing ever happens. Like a culture can change quickly, I think. I think a culture can change quickly. And I think a culture needs just one igniter or two igniters to get it going, or on the complete opposite end to do the difference there. So I don't know who he's calling out. You're right. But I do believe that if it was the case, you can get that changed, I think, personally.
Yeah, you absolutely can, but it has to be the right person, the right position, which is usually the quarterback position that has the most kind of pull from with the coaches and all the players in the team. But they weren't calling Kyler out at all. They're calling the organization out. So I'm just like, okay, who are you directing this at?
I've been around K1, Peterson said, Patrick Peterson. He's a competitor. And I feel like, no disrespect to the Arizona Cardinals, I feel like they don't put the team in a position to be successful year after year after year after year. And Kyler Murray is not going to sit around and wait for that. Oh, okay. So
is he mad they didn't re-sign Chandler Jones?
Maybe, but they did re-sign A.J. Green, right?
Yeah, and they got J.J. Watt.
And Nuke.
It feels like they have done things.
So maybe this is from before, because Patrick Peterson wasn't there whenever they were sending a plane up to Wisconsin to meet JJ on the frozen lake that he had just been sitting in to recover from the hard workout he had.
Oh, yeah.
What's he been with the Vikings, 1 year?
Their owner's not cheap at all, though. It's not one of those things.
Well,
is it?
I wonder what they're...
Well, paying the alleged... delayed bonuses? That could be part of it.
Slow down.
Is that even real?
We don't know. Well, a new deal was worked for Cliff Kingsbury, so we assume that all got put
Yeah, and the GM.
and settled. Yeah, we'll handle this whole thing. But yeah, it does seem as of late, and I don't know the history before as of late, so I apologize. I have taken quite a liking to the city of Phoenix in the area, so I'm paying attention to the Cardinals a lot more. It does feel like it's an owner that's all in, though. From the outside looking in, I'm not there. I don't know what it's been like in the past. I don't know if that's an accurate portrayal of what's going on. But the whole signing and moving, and I mean, they traded a bag of balls for DeAndre Hopkins to go try to get him in there. He's an absolute weapon. Maybe they're talking about more weapons around Kyler Murray, even though they bring back AJ Green.
Kyler's going to get paid. It sounds like they're going to have to pay him soon.
In the next week, because he wants to get paid before the draft, he said.
Yeah.
We got 7 days till the draft
Yeah.
spectacular. Will the Arizona Cardinals open their pocketbook
Clock's ticking.
to Kyler Murray? What's up, Tony? You're
I was
thinking.
trying to think of his weapons. They did let Christian Kirk go, but they probably didn't want to pay him $20 million.
Drafted Rondale Moore.
Rondale Moore, and
Oh, yeah, he's good.
He's a
right?
monster.
That's-
they
James Conner
they
was good.
re-signed
Conner,
they re-signed James Conner.
I mean, that's 3
They
wide
brought in. They
receivers.
traded for Zach Ertz.
They went
And
and
on
got
the defensive side, they lose Chandler Jones, I guess,
Yeah.
but they still got Buda. Right?
Buda.
Buda drafted a corner in the first round. They also traded for Rodney Hudson, Pro Bowl center.
So I wonder if this is a very recent development for the Arizona
I
Cardinals.
think, I don't know how much control he had before Michael Bidwell, the owner now, took over from his father in like 2019.
Oh, his father.
So maybe it is a vastly different run team
Makes
since
sense.
the son has taken over, which does make sense. And Patrick Peterson, right? Was he there during those eras, I wonder?
2020 was
Night-
his last year there.
So he's there for 1 year, I guess.
He played with Kyler in 19 and 20, right? He said.
I don't know. So maybe it's maybe they are changing their culture as we speak and it's being called out, which was probably accurate, whatever was being called
Yeah,
out.
if somebody's taking like this, his dad ran the team for so long, and then you take over, there's naturally going to be different things. You're going to do things much differently, I'm sure, in different areas.
By the way, especially if you're a pilot, I think the guy's his own pilot. He flew his own plane up to pick up J.J. Watt, and he's obviously multi-billionaire. I mean,
How'd they make their money?
I don't know.
It's always interesting to see.
I mean, how much of this goes on Kyler, too, though? Like, because he didn't play well down the stretch at all.
Hey, listen, I'm a Kyler believer.
Me, too. But I'm just
And I
saying,
love
like,
Face Clan.
Face Clan.
Face Clan. Love Face Clan. You should see what he does in those video games, by the way.
fucking sick 360 no scopes.
But it does feel like whenever Nuke wasn't on the field, the offense was completely different towards the end of the season. They're going to have to figure it out, though.